Anthony Joshua puts it on a heckler and tells him that he'll break his glass jaw. So I don't want to just be superficial and look at this from a ethical point of view and discuss whether Joshua was wrong, whether Joshua was right. Forget that. I want to talk about the mental and psychological aspects behind, such a threat. Now, some people have been very critical of Anthony Joshua, saying that he's gone soft, that he doesn't have that, you know, killer instincts about him, that, Joshua is not the same since the Andy Ruiz loss. But this is quite cold from Anthony Joshua to confront this heckler, who, this is a tiny guy in comparison to Anthony Joshua. He is, just a scrawny uni student who puts it on Joshua. And Joshua confronts him, and I'm assuming the person recording is, with Anthony Joshua, and I'm assuming that person had consent. And Joshua puts it on this geezer and tells him, you wouldn't like it if I broke your glass jaw. Is Joshua showing that he is reinvigorated, that he is not going to take criticism and being slagged off from the average geezer on the street? Joshua seems to want to demand respect and command respect, and that's something people were very critical of him before, saying, Joshua's too nice, jolly good show, all this and all that, but Joshua seems to have this roughness and this coldness to him now. I've just noticed a slight shift in his personality, even hanging with Derek Chisora, saying stuff like he don't respect Tyson Fury is not the king, because I think there was a moment where Derek Chisora acknowledged Tyson Fury and said, well, let's give it to Fury, he is the king, and Joshua said, no, he ain't no king. And then Derek Chisora said something along the lines, I'm paraphrasing right now, that no, the Gypsy King, he's the Gypsy King, we'll give him that. And Joshua was like, meh. Joshua wasn't too impressed with Tyson Fury. Also, I've seen some comments that Anthony Joshua has recently made where he said, talking about the Alexander Usyk rematch, that this is the first time in my career I'd say we are specifically working on a game plan. I've based a lot of my success on my raw ability, but the raw ability wasn't enough. So now I'm going to try out this game plan, training, and see how it goes. I plan to go back to the basics and take this guy out. I just didn't feel like we were hearing this from Anthony Joshua before. He didn't have the same mean streak or energy, last year that he does now. I feel like this has changed Anthony Joshua, that he's sick of being this corporate guy, this formal guy, and his true personality has come out where he feels like he's not being disrespectful, by the way. He's just saying that, he deserves respect. These boxers are often disrespected by the average person who don't have the bottle to do, 1/3 of what these boxers are willing to do. So Joshua is commanding respect. He doesn't want to take disrespect from pencil necks like the guy we saw in the video, this teenager who was... A lot of people I see call this guy a kid, but he may have been a teenager, but at what point is it you're a grown man and you're responsible? By the age of 18, 19, 20, which is around the age of a uni student, do you say, well, this is no longer a kid? Even though that guy, he's tiny, he doesn't really have the build of a grown man. If you look at his age, I'm assuming, he's a uni student because he was on campus at Loughborough University. You've got to just say to yourself that, yeah, this guy is a grown man and he knows what he's doing. But again, I don't want to get too involved in the ethical aspect of this situation, whether, is this guy old enough, should Joshua be putting it on him? But I just want to say that, what does this say about Anthony Joshua's mentality, his mean streak? This, I don't know, I guess you could call it an ego, that he's not willing to tolerate disrespect, and he couldn't fathom the idea of this average man, this scrawny man, disrespecting him. And Joshua does deserve his respect because he's being criticized heavily, and Joshua in his career has been rushed, and he's taken big fights. If you look at all the top guys in the heavyweight division, Wilder, Fury, well, Fury's retired, Ruiz, Joseph Parker, Dylan White, you'd have to say that Anthony Joshua has the best resume, out of the bunch. So, he deserves his credit. So, yeah, the guy shouldn't have said what he said about Joshua. And I just feel like Joshua's reaction, or the way Joshua approached this guy, and it was controlled aggression, by the way. It wasn't like Joshua was just going off at this guy, swearing off his chops. He was still composed, but he delivered and expressed his frustration and annoyance with the guy that, was heckling at him. So there's been a mentality shift in Anthony Joshua based off his recent comments, the way he's been acting, hanging out with Derek Chisora, putting it on the heckler, getting it recorded. I'm assuming someone from his team, released it. So there's definitely a shift in his mindset where he almost wants to revenge Anthony Joshua, where he is fed up and he just wants to improve. He wants to go in there, he wants to knock Usyk out, but he's almost channeling the aggression required and trying to soak everything up and translate it, hopefully, into a good performance, in the rematch against Usyk. So, yeah, those were my thoughts on Anthony Joshua confronting the heckler. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below.